Well, the Supreme Court has now agreed to take cognizance and hear the Haridwar hate speech matter. Senior lawyer and Congress leader Kapil Sibal had filed a petition urging the Supreme Court to take action against the controversial religious gathering that was held last month. In fact, at the religious assembly that was held on December 17th to 19th of December, various religious leaders made hateful speeches calling for using of weapons against Muslims. A 5-member SIT has already been constituted to probe the case now. So this is the latest that we are getting as far as the Haridwar hate speech is concerned. Now the Supreme Court has decided to take cognizance on this matter. Remember, more and more voices are coming to fore condemning this hate speech because the state government, the Uttarakhand government so far hasn't really done anything constructive to actually exemplify that strict action needs to be taken against this hate speech. In fact, an open call for genocide of the minorities, especially Muslims. And now with the top court deciding to take cognizance, this is a big development. We must tell you that senior lawyer and Congress leader Kapil Sibal had filed this petition and he urged the Supreme Court to take this action against this religious gathering that was held last month. In fact, this Haridwar Dharm Sansad was something that took place on December 17th. It went on till 19th of December. Hate speeches given left, right and center. Visuals on your screens actually are videographed, documented visuals where these religious leaders were giving hate speeches. However, nothing really was done about it. FIRs lodged against one person, no arrests made. So this is how the approach was until there were, now that the top court has gone ahead, stepped in to take matters in its hand. Probably we'll see there will be some action or the other. We must also tell our viewers that the Indian diaspora has also mentioned that this sort of a hate speech on a regular basis, in fact, is being reported from the country, and this should actually not be happening. This should be condemned. So not just those voices. In fact, we've also heard Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan also making a comment on this particular hate speech that happened in Haridwar, and he's asked Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and he's in fact questioned his silence. So voices coming not just from outside of the country but also from our neighboring country Pakistan, where the Prime Minister of Pakistan in fact also has mentioned that something needs to be done, and the Prime Minister of India needs to actually say something against the hate speeches that have been recorded and reported so far, especially in Haridwar. My colleague Meenakshi is now joining me on the broadcast. Meenakshi, the top court taking cognizance about this hate speech that was actually given for 2 days in a row. Nothing really was done about it. It was very gleefully documented on video, and yet no action was taken.
Absolutely, that's the crux of the matter here. Remember what we had reported earlier. There were a group of 76 lawyers, very eminent senior counsels, likes of Mr Dushyant Dave, Mr Prashant Bhushan, others who are AORs practicing in the Supreme Court. They had also made a representation to the Chief Justice of India while the Supreme Court was in the midst of their winter break, categorically stating that here is a case where provisions of UAPA are attracted. And despite that, the state government here, in this case, government of Uttarakhand, is seen dragging its feet. It's seen acting in a lackadaisical manner, so much so that the FIR registered, a solitary FIR, has also been on very flimsy grounds, which does not really go ahead and name those people who are seen prominently in the videographic evidence available in the public domain. So basis all that, we saw Mr Kapil Sibal, who is a senior advocate and also former minister in the Congress government. He made a mentioning of a PIL before the Honorable Chief Justice of India, saying that the slogan of the country is changing from Satyamev Jayate to something else entirely, to which we saw the observation coming from Chief Justice of India. He said, and I quote, "We will look into it," end quote. So that's a clear indication that the Supreme Court is going to list this matter for an urgent hearing very soon in the foreseeable future, because no less than the highest constitutional authority of the highest court in this land has today said that they will look into it. So clearly what that means is there will be a lot of stock taking and accounting, and that the Supreme Court is going to affix on the state government of Uttarakhand. So that's the big news. This is something that has been the subject matter of a lot of public debate, so much so, as we showcased earlier in the day on Mirror Now, that even the Indian diaspora, which is hugely influential, staying out of India, that has been urging for something to be done in this matter. And also the volume of evidence which is on ground is quite overwhelming. So these are the factors which will be taken into account. And as we have seen in the past, in disparate matters, Supreme Court crack the whip and hold state governments accountable. Perhaps that is what will happen in this particular instance as well.
Right, Meenakshi, thank you so much for joining us with all those details. I'm also now joined on the broadcast by Mr. John Dayal, activist. Mr. Dayal, thank you so much for joining me. Now, this is a very, very important development, and this is coming from the top court of the country. Do you think it's too little, too late? The court has decided to take cognizance into the matter, but so much was said, after this entire hate speech row came to light. This is December 17th that we are talking about. So much debate has happened, yet nothing constructive was done by the Uttarakhand government against the perpetrators here.
I can't say it is too late. I'm happy it has taken place. But let me just put it in perspective. Even if Imran Khan had not spoken, even if the NRIs had not spoken, even if anybody had not spoken, here was something that had been going on for 2 days, and later again they held press conferences. It also happened again in Raipur. Do we have to wait for others to make us ashamed of ourselves? Do we even have to wait for the courts to say act? This is a case which comes quite within the four walls of the Indian law. UAPA, in fact, and because it's under UAPA also, is the central home ministry and the state government, which are both culpable in this case. Why have they not taken action? I mean, I would like to think they've not taken action, fearing that it may have an impact on the state assembly elections, particularly in Uttar Pradesh, in that it may possibly polarize people or put them off if the government of India and the state governments of various states are seen acting against these people who claim to be Hindutva leaders. They claim to be leaders of the faith. But most good Hindus in India, in their social media, have denounced them. They've said they cannot act as religious leaders when they're spewing such hate. All the Shankaracharyas don't spew such hate. Leaders
Absolutely, Mr. Dayal. In fact, good you mentioned that, and very, very majority, like more and more majority voices, if we have to put it like that, are coming to fore. And especially only yesterday, we reported about students from IIM. In fact, 183 signatories who'd written to the Prime Ministers asking that why is he silent in the wake of these hate speeches that have been blatantly given, not just in Haridwar, in Delhi, in Raipur. So that has also happened.
Yeah, can I just say one small thing? As a member of the minority committee, as a Catholic, religious minorities or any other minority, we live in this country on two issues. One is the rule of law. We know that the law will protect us, whatever is the government, whatever is the religion of the policeman. The second is the goodwill of our neighbor, the goodwill of the large Hindu majority. There's the goodwill and the rule of law collectively ensure the security and the safety and the welfare of religious and ethnic majorities in India. And we're very happy and proud of it. I mean, if my Hindu neighbors won't protect me, who will protect me? So that is what, and I'm so happy that many Hindu groups came and denounced these people of the Dharm Sansad. This was no Dharm Sansad. This was a hate parliament.
Absolutely. Also, Mr. Dayal, your final word, what do you make of this word coming from the Supreme Court that they will in fact be taking cognizance? What do you think is going to happen after this?
No, the Supreme Court issues directives. It doesn't have a police force. It will ask the government, the Home Ministry of the state, to register cases. Since cases are already registered, it will ask them to add UAPA and any other things. A whole range, a whole slew of laws have been violated. And it will upgrade the crime, and the police will then be forced to act.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. John Dayal, for joining me on the broadcast. And breaking news just coming in, Rahul Gandhi has taken a fresh dig at the BJP and he has gone ahead, tweeted that it's time to defeat hatred through the elections result. In fact, Rahul has fired fresh salvo ahead of polls, again training his guns at the BJP. And I quote him here, he's written it that nafrat ko harane ka sahi mauka hai. Hashtag elections 2022. So fresh salvo ahead of polls, again taking a dig at the BJP, and this is in sync with the Congress President Priyanka Gandhi, while she said that love conquers all and love over hate. Now even Rahul Gandhi going ahead and tweeting that it's time to win over hate this elections. On that note, I'm slipping into a very short break here on Mirror Now. News continues on the other side. Stay tuned.